Alright guys, what's going on? This is your boy Like One Half in Duo. So I'm doing this video for a reason. Um I would have to say that I've been getting a lot of subscribers in the last couple of days because of my videos. And I thank y'all for subscribing to the Enduro channel. Again, check out the Game and Chill with me with my sister KD. She's the other half of Enduro. And the video you see on the screen is just for background, just to have something showing while that the audio might be down is off because I want y'all to understand where I'm coming from with this. This is kind of like a serious video, so I would say this to you guys. And after I seen another video that Trips sent to me, and I'm respect for the guy. I don't know the YouTuber, and I respect him how y'all are attacking him. I like YouTubers, which I'm not surprised. YouTubers and the comment section are just nasty towards the guy because he's positive about the Nintendo Switch 2, and he had to tell the reason why he's positive. And I mean, God bless him. Um, this, of course, is recorded on a Sunday after I went to me and my wife, we are a Christian couple. We go to church and partake in the church. Even though I am far from the perfect person, and I never said I am perfect. And I don't know if I'll go to heaven or not. But like I said, this is just a serious topic to let people understand certain things. So with that said, I don't understand. Most of my viewers are from people that's in America. All right. And to the number one guys, Floyd, Trinelli, Brownie, Santiago, saw you back, the Aries, all you guys. Thank y'all for rocking with me, and I think y'all understand where I'm coming from. But for the new people who have left comments that I was like, I'm not even, and I'm not trying to say I'm not gonna respond to you. The only reason I didn't respond to you because like the guy said, it just like ain't worth the negativity. I said what I said in the videos. All right. Now, I came from a small island in the Caribbean. For those who didn't know, some know, but I'm just like I do subscribers and everything. I came from a small island in the Caribbean, and I grew up. One thing about people that's arguing about the whole Nintendo pricing and everything like that. Again, I feel you. I understand that. I would not. I'm not arguing against it. If y'all want to boycott, boycott. I'm more of a libertarian. I like let things be what it is. But I just don't like stupid shenanigans. I don't like people two timing or double speaking or just saying lies for just reasons, just for clout chasing and stuff like that. When I made the Endor channel 14 years ago, well, no, not 14 years, 15 years, 11 years ago, sorry, almost 11 years ago. 2014 is when we started the channel. I just wanted to talk about gaming. I just want to talk about the fun of gaming. I don't care. Like in my phrase I said at the end of every show, I don't care what console you have. You work hard for your money, so you pay what you like. If you like a PlayStation, you go get a PlayStation. You like an Xbox, Xbox. I argue with some companies on their decisions, as you see, but I have normally been arguing for the last 10 years that y'all ain't gonna like where the industry's gonna go. Y'all will never like where the industry's gonna go. But this is this that I've been trying to being like the canary in the coal mine. You ain't gonna like it. You're not gonna like it. I think a crash, a reset might need happen, could be with stuff like that. But a lot of things is happening now that y'all are angry for no apparent reason. And the reason I say that because you have the option to not buy. So if you do not like the price, see, the reason I talk about coming from a Caribbean, a different country, is because of where I came from. And God respects to my grandmother who passed away last year, which was a tough year for me and my family. And even my wife, like she's like, wow, I never know how good she said she never know how good she had it. I grew up poor, real poor, dirt poor. Not a poor like America have. You guys have welfare. You guys have the government in certain issues to help you. Now I'm against it because some of the government keeps you poor, but some people want to choose to be poor. They give money to have kids, and then you don't take care of your kids, but they still give you money. But that's a subject for a different matter. That's not what I'm talking about. But I didn't have none of that growing up. When I met my wife, she told me, I told her, and I okay, let me phrase it this way. I remember when people used to say, "Oh man, I'll try to work hard so my kids would have something." That my kids would have something that they get something better than what I grew up with. For me, I used to say this, and a lot of people didn't at the beginning. A lot of people in my circles never understood that. But after I told them more of the story, they're like, "Oh, I get what you're saying." By definition, my children, God bless me, that we get kids that they're going to, by definition, get way more than I ever had when I was growing up. We had one pipe throughout our house to take shower and fill up pots to cook food. We didn't have no fridge. We didn't have no fridge. We didn't have no stove. People had stove. I didn't have no stove. I mean, we didn't have the luxury of having a stove to cook stuff on. Later on, we got it, and we got piece by piece by working hard. My family did, but we didn't have a stove. We didn't have a fridge. We had to cook food right there and do stuff. We had to do hard work. Most of my families, even when they had a job, like my mom or my aunt who worked for the government, still had to come home and help my grandmother with farming and stuff like that because we didn't have that's just how the things were at the time. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's what it is. Running water, we had one pipe at the back of the house. We didn't have indoor plumbing. We had one pipe at the back of the house. That's what we had. You know, Katie's 12 years younger than me, so she never grew through that. But that's what we had. And that's how we took showers. And that little pipe was spitting water. It wasn't even like a good, it was, you're taking a shower in the open air with the water just spraying that on you. And it's cold. I didn't have no hot water. I had to, again, we didn't have, we call it EBT cards, but they ain't EBT card, but food stamps. There's no such thing as food stamps when I was growing up because we didn't, in my country didn't have that. We didn't have that. And this is the reason why I'm telling you all this about the Nintendo Switch too. So just bear with me. If you plugged out and you gone, again, understandable. Hey, it is what it is. But this is a generation end video I wanted to put out and talk seriously about. We never had a car until, let me see, I was born in the 80s. We didn't have a car until 1998. Yeah. My mom worked hard to get a car, and come to find out, the car was a lemon, but she worked what she could get. I grew up when I was young. I didn't have no like other people had sandwiches. We had no sandwiches. It was bread and butter, or bread and mayonnaise. We had cornflakes. Yes, that was cheap enough to get. Thank goodness, we did have cornflakes. When I used to, but here's the funny part, because my wife recently saw this like a year ago. So I started using cornflakes now because I'm a diabetic. I'm trying to cut down on carbs and sugar and stuff like that. So I'm trying to change my eating. in a certain way. Maybe I should just pause and not disturbing, but everybody's disturbing me right now. Funny, but anyway, so I didn't had um. So what happened? Oh yeah. So when we were growing up, because we didn't have a refrigerator, we used to use canned milk or powder milk, but mostly canned sometimes. And that's in my. I know my powder for my mama generation, but canned was for us. So I never really had bottled milk, and I never grew up on bottled milk. So I don't use unless I'm cooking like a pancake or something special, buttermilk or whatever. I even up to this now, I am the benefactor of what I ate. Now half of that is good because it makes it that I save a lot of money because of that way. But again, so my mom, so basically for my wife, so she's like, "How are you gonna eat it?" I said, she's like, "Well, wait, you ain't got no milk." And what we do back in the day, because for us, we wanted hot meals. We don't need in the morning. My grandmother was like, we have hot meals, not cold meals. She always wanted something hot in our stomachs. So what happened is this: we used to have, we used to fill up a bowl with cereal. We used to get sugar. That was still that because we have sugar back in my country. We used to make our own sugar. Not no more now. We import the thing, but we used to have our own sugar. Anyway, um, and take hot. We used to boil hot water, put half hot water, and we took half of the canned milk, and that's how we get cereal. And my mom was like, "That's how you?" I said, "Yeah, that's how it is. We did a cold cereal." Even her mom was like, who's old, of course, old, and she's like, "Wow, what?" Yeah, I grew up different from my wife, so I just it is in baked into me. Now, lucky for me, I was blessed with the brains that I was blessed with. Long story short, in this part, I'm gonna just jump a couple. I'm gonna say a couple of stuff and jump to the topic I'm going through, like I said, Generation N. And I'll say this. No, you know what? Let me state this. My first gaming console ever was a Tiger Electronic that my mom brought back from St. Thomas when I was a kid. That was the first thing I had, and I played the heck out of it. But before that, I when we had it for fun, and this is why I say a lot of you Americans have this, and that's why y'all are better than most. Here's the thing. Let me put it out. If you live in America and you are not like a slave, and when I mean by slave, I mean a true slave. There are slavery still in America. I'm talking about sex slave and all that stuff. There are people who do that horrible stuff to people in America. But other than that, and I know a lot of the people who watch my videos and who talk to these YouTubers, they never live that life. You never had that problem. You guys are in the top 2% of the world, the entire world. All right, the world. I'm talking about you all talk about, oh man, gaming is this and it's so expensive and stuff like that, and it is. I'm not gonna deny it. But there's kids out there who are, and I was one of them, who used to have a stick and used to run around with a bicycle wheel. He used to take a coconut branch or a piece of wood, shave it down to a bat to play cricket, which you might not know what it. Look it up, but cricket. He used to go to the school. I remember he had to go to when the in the school when I was in elementary. They used to paint stuff, whatever, to keep it, whatever, and they um they used to in the paint cans had marbles. And we used to wait until they throw the cans away to the trash heap, and we used to go there and we used to pop them, cut them open and get the marbles, wash them off, and get shinies and cat's eye and all this stuff. That's how we did stuff. The most money I would think I ever used to spend as kids was a soccer ball or a tennis ball. That's what we did. So that was our entertainment back in the day. I remember when I moved to St. Thomas, when my mom had to move for work and moved to St. Thomas. And I didn't have no friends. I moved to a school. I didn't have no friends. And I used to play with, I'm dead serious, no lie. I had imagination, which a lot of kids don't have nowadays. Now because we're not to ourselves, which is sucking. I had imagination. I used to have to, what you call it, take deodorants and perfume and hairbrush and stuff and play like it's planes and boats and stuff. Just that was the only fun I had. 'Cause I had imagination. I had to make things up in my brain. Cause I really didn't have no toys. Cause my mom couldn't afford it. I mean, I killed that Tiger Electronic. It was baseball. That Tiger Electronic baseball, I killed that thing. And the same thing for the Sonic. When the Sonic came out, Tiger Electronic, I killed that thing. No, lucky for me, my aunt, who started to she lived in the British Virgin Islands, and she started working as a bartender and started making money. And I was the oldest. She gave me a Nintendo as a Christmas gift, and I'm happy. I got a Nintendo. I got a Super Mario Brothers 2. It was later on. I think it was like 1990. It was not in the 80s, but 1990, 1991, somewhere in that. I got that, and I played it. And of course, it was strict rules. Of course, that my mother had. I couldn't play the game unless it's the weekends. The weekends I played. If it ain't the weekends, I ain't playing nothing. School is what it is. That's what my mom set it up to be. But no, I did that. Then of course, 2 years later, I started making friends from neighboring island. One from St. Kitts, one from St. Kitts, and one from St. Thomas. So I, that's what I did. I started making friends, and then one of my friend next door, his mom was working for the government, and he had a good job. My mom had this job. He had a good job, like I said, so he used to get all the toys in the neighborhood. Let me just make sure. Okay. He had all the toys in the neighborhood. So he had a Super Nintendo. He had a Game Gear. Now, thank you. He was a good friend at that time. We friends still to this day, but just a little mishaps. But he let me borrow his Game Gear. I used to play that. I used to play Street of Rage on that Game Gear like crazy. Oh my God, Street of Rage 2. But luckily for Lee, my father, he said, I had good grades. I was in a private school. My father paid for a lot of stuff. So I started being in private school. Just don't get it twisted. I might have been in a private school. Come on, my father didn't want to put me in public school, but that doesn't mean I was living the good life. Okay, I wasn't. 'Cause my sister went to private school too, but we went in a good life. But he bought me a Sega Genesis with Sonic 2, and I had, trust me, played the heck out of that Sonic 2, learned the cheat code, Golden Sonic, all the stuff, played everything, and had a ball with that console. Street Range 1, Street Range 2. Yes. And again, like I stated before, those prices were not cheap. $80 to $90 for those cartridges. Now, yes, I've gotten comments in my video saying about, oh, well, cartridges was expensive back then. Cartridges are expensive right now. You want to know why? Because since everybody's doing digital stuff. So it's because everybody's doing digital now. There's not many physical, and for Nintendo to do physical, there is very special. It's proprietary now, so it's a little more expensive. That's what it is. So they're making it's a little more expensive now, but I'm happy they're still keeping it. I'm happy that they keep in the Switch to physical games because most Nintendo games that I've seen so far, I've done a video about this with all the different graphics on their key card and everything. I explained the key card, I explained how much gigabytes are on some of these games, and Nintendo is gonna put a game on a full cartridge. Thank you, Nintendo. At least that part is good. All right. Now, getting back to the point. Like I said, my friend had a 64. I got a 64 later on. Of course, he got it earlier than me. I got a 64 later on. And I remember because my aunt, again, she came up and bought me my 64. I had Star Fox. I had 64 and Star Fox. And she bought it for 70 or $75. And it was 70 something dollars. And that's not including tax. So that's crazy money right off the bat right there. Okay? Crazy money that she used. Then I remember Smash being 70. I remember, like I said to you guys again, WWE 2020, 2000, WWE, WWF 2000. That was $90. I saw games for 100, 110 in the game stores back then. Now, I want to state this going forward. This is why I'm doing this video seriously. A lot of y'all work hard for your money. You've heard me say that a million times, and I'm gonna continue to say that. So you have a choice. But here's the thing: y'all have a privilege to buy these games compared to other people in the world. Y'all really and angry. And here's the thing: I'm not saying you don't have the right to be angry, but you're angry of the choice to buy something to keep you happy. I love gaming. I love music. I love everything. I came from dirt poor. Literally right now, I'm working on a song, kind of like Drake's song, but I'm literally working on a song. Came from the bottom, but I'm the cream on the top. Come from what I just told you. I'm in a house. My house is worth over $500,000 now because I worked my butt off. I went to college. I got a degree in architecture. I did what I had to do. I've been working at my architecture job that I've been working for 20 years now. This May coming up, gonna be 20 years I've been working at this company. And God bless me, hopefully many more. Maybe 10 more years, whatever, because my boss is getting older, but hopefully many more years. But it's been 10 years, 20 years I've been working at this company. I went from working, when I first started working at this company in 2005, I was making $10 an hour to now making $33 an hour. It took a while, but I got up there. $10 an hour, $33 an hour. I worked. Nobody would ever tell me I am not a hard worker. That's one thing you cannot lie on Liger. When I came to America, my first job, because my mindset and my ethics was so different from most people, and sadly, that's kind of messed up how American people are now. And I'm not knocking those American people who work their butts off. Everybody's different. There's not an absolute in anything, all right? But there are stereotypes for certain things. I'm a black man. I know they got stereotypes for me. I just don't follow the stereotypes. But here's what I'm trying to say here is this. When I came to America to work, again, came here, had a scholarship because I was smart. Thank God for that. Stepped in, had a scholarship. Didn't have a full ride scholarship, but a scholarship. Came in here, and I stayed with my cousin. Me and my cousin rented apartment. All I had in that apartment when I came to America was a bed. That was it. A bed. Not a frame, not a dresser, not nothing. A bed, carpet, and a closet. That was it. No cars, no nothing, whatever. I started to go to school. My aunt had to pick me up. My cousin had to drop me up. I had to be on people's schedule in North Carolina. It's not a bit. It's not like New York or Chicago or whatever. It's not a bus-friendly city. They have buses, but you got to take a lot of buses to get places. I am not that. But whatever. So I worked my butt off. But the first year, I didn't do nothing. I was going to school and that was it. And then my cousin got a new job at the airport. And when she got a job at the airport, they needed strong men. So I was one of them. So I came there. They wanted to destroy it. It was a gift shop. A new company bought all the gift shops in RDU International Airport. They destroyed all the gift shops. They wanted and they wanted people to like come do construction to destruct stuff and take stuff away. And I started there and I worked. There were other people there than me, right? I did not send for my 64, my consoles or whatever yet because they were down St. House where I am. I'm not. I said I don't have nothing to do it up here, so I left them there. I was working at taking stuff away. The lady was paying me money every week. After a month of working, and I remember one week coming back, and I was telling her, "Hey, I was like, I'm gonna get a check." I said, "Okay, Connie, I didn't get my check Friday, but I get it. I know you're a busy person, but it's just like and this is forbidden what she said. She said, "Oh, don't worry about that." I mean, what do you mean? You're hired. What do you mean I'm hired? She said, "You're hired." I'm like, "What?" Uh, I like how the way you work. I want to hire you, so you're hired. I'm like, I didn't have to do an interview or nothing. No, funny enough, I was still getting paid on the table for a month before I had to sign the papers and everything to be, whatever. But I got a job without even looking for a job. And then after that, I have a love for planes, as you see with some of my video. The last couple of Game and Chill, I do the video, the Pilot Hero, Airport Hero, sorry. So at that time, they had an airline called Midway Airlines, and I started working for them. So from since 2001 to most of the time, I always had a second job. I never really, I might like couple years, I might have one job, but I have a second job. I always had two jobs. I got my degree. I left the one job. I kept working at the airport. I work on Midway Airlines. Then September 11 happened, so I switched over to working for UPS at the airport as well, and worked there until I got my current job I have now, and still there. And then I switched to that job for a while because that job was making enough money, $10,000 out. Who would have thought was making enough? But I was still working, living in an apartment and everything as well. And then I remember, again, skipping ahead, I remember time for me to go look for a house. And I remember looking to this lake because I remember when I was in working for the gift shop and still working at the airport to both do double jobs. I needed a laptop, and I did not understand credit. To be honest with anybody, I didn't understand credit. Next thing you know, they told me. I remember trying to remember Dell, the dude you're getting Dell, that Dell guy. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting a Dell. I went there and I taught and I said, oh, if I buy a Dell, all I gotta do is pay $200 a month for a laptop and pay until I paid off. I remember literally calling the hotline and asking them, hey, the laptop was $1,400. I said, I have $600. If I give you $600, can you break it down to like, I mean, doing my math, I said it should be at least half. So if it was 200, I think it was 300 and something dollars a month. So at least you should be like less than $200 a month. I gotta pay. She said no, we only finance it all the way. And that was a hard reality to figure out how finances work and everything. I'm like, wow. So when I got my house, I had a great score. I still have a good score now, but I had a great score. And I remember the white lady said to me, and I wish I kept on with her because she was a nice person. She told me, wait, She's like, you have a credit score this high? Wow. In the 800. She's like, wait, how old are you? I said, I'm only 25. Well, you have this? She's like, I know people who've been living, and how long you been in this country? I said, I've only been in this country for like 6 years. She's like, I know people who've been in this country longer than you, live here, whatever, and they never have a credit score like this. I said that's because my mom taught me that, because my mom she was a business person per se too. So she taught me how to use my money. And also my aunt, what I said, worked for the government. She was in IRS, so she taught me many things. She's the one who also helped me save money for my music company and everything, and I have a music company and make a lot of money and put stuff aside to have my company started. And hopefully this year I could start my music back up again, because the last album I produced was 2012. It went platinum, and we made a lot of money off of it, touring the world and everything. But it's been 12 years, 10, 14 years, 14 years. It is what it is. But anyway, so you had that. My thing is, I work hard for what I got in my house I have right now. Paid off my cars, don't have whatever. I might not have the newest and latest car, but I can tell you right now, my first car I bought in 2001 lasted until 2019. The car I drive now is a 2013. Still driving good, still driving great. Knocking on wood. I don't have no car payment. I have nothing to worry about that. So I worked my butt off to this point where I could afford the new Switch 2 and the games they have. I have the privilege to work my butt to afford it. Do I want a lower price? Yes. But if that's what it is because of inflation and all the other stuff that I've talked about before, and I did videos about this on this channel, about, it is what it is. You have the opportunity to buy something. And some of you gamers are crying about buying something. If you don't, it's an expensive hobby. The same PC, people who like to emulate and all that stuff, to emulate, you need a powerful PC. All right? So don't miss me with the nonsense, because you're gonna pay a lot of money for that NVIDIA graphics card to do that. Graphics cards ain't cheap. CPUs ain't cheap. Memory ain't cheap. My computer that I just built, I finally built, and I will do a video to show that because I have the videos on my channel about that. That was, like I said, it was $2,000 to build a computer. It's worth more, but because of the pieces, I waited till I got price drops and stuff. If I wanted to do PC game, I would, but like I said multiple times, just because of my job being an architect and sitting in front of a desk, I don't like sitting in front of desks. I don't. And playing games. If it has to come to that, maybe, but at this point, I don't like it and I don't want it. I like getting in front of my big screen TV that I bought and use it. Or I like the Switch is a handheld or whatever. I mean, good, Steam Deck. You were like, oh, go to Steam Deck. Well, again, I still don't officially own my stuff. You know why? I'm a physical person. Most of you guys have seen my closet. I have a lot of games, from PlayStation to PlayStation 5 to Game Boy to 64 to Super Nintendo to the Switch to Dreamcast. All those games I bought with my own money. I work hard and get those money. You have to work. If you're gonna work, you're gonna work to get the Switch console too, and the games. My thing is, maybe now some gamers will be more prudent with their money. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you like it, buy it. Maybe you'll buy the real good games instead of buying crappy games and keep on pushing them. I don't buy broken games. And I mean really broken games. No game is perfect. But I don't buy really broken games. I have fun. I wait with it. I have fun with it. What I have. I am just sad to see a lot of people, and I do mean it. I'm just sad to see a lot of gamers crying and bitching and moaning about the prices. Again, I didn't bitch for the PlayStation 4 Pro. You think PlayStation? Let's be honest right now. There was a trend, like I said before. You think after PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6 gonna come out, say Nintendo didn't do what they did. You don't think PlayStation would have upped the prices anyway and the next console would have been expensive? Of course it would. Xbox is trying to do their new handheld. You think it was gonna be cheap before take Nintendo out of this option? Of course it was gonna be expensive. So I'm sorry. That sucks. Gaming is an expensive hobby. That's all it is. If you guys were buying, and again, I'm talking about in general, if a lot of gamers have bought physical games, a lot of stuff will still be will be expensive, will be less expensive. But no, y'all want it all digital format. Y'all want all digital stuff. That's why PC, the master race, yeah, they're gonna hurt too. A lot of PC games that come out, again, give you an example, and it's a multiple example I give you, because again, Cyberpunk, it came out perfect. It came out messed up. Starfield came out mixed up. I don't know. I still understand what Bethesda got a hold on a lot of you gamers, but whatever. But y'all wait for the patches and stuff like that. So if the PC people can wait for patches, why can you guys just wait for the game to come down, whatever? Yes, Nintendo prices don't go down. I understand that. I'm not saying I'm an example of stuff, but we should have been paying, should have been physical all the time. That video I did with that penguin guy, funny as a penguin on the screen right now, that penguin jerk. Here's a man who got millions of subscribers, who gets hundreds of millions. I mean, I know he get paid very well if he got millions of views. I mean, the video that he did have millions of views. Mother effer, you got enough money to buy whatever you want, and you bitching? This is what I'm talking about. Y'all have these YouTubers are the ones. Technically speaking, without the YouTube, you would have never made money. So you found a niche, you found people who could help you, and to buy you to watch your videos for whatever stupid shit that you be saying, and you make money off of that. Good for you. I would never knock a man's hustle. Man or female hustle. That's what it is. You got that. But miss me that you crying for something that you could easily afford. Hell, some of these bastards could buy 4, 5, 6 Nintendo Switch 2 and give it to people for free as a good gesture. Now, remember, when I got my Wii U, I gave away, when we first started the channel, and I ain't did it in a while. It's not because I'm not that. It's just, again, now stuff is going on. I'm trying to start a family. I'm trying to do other stuff. But back then, people would tell you I was giving away games. I was giving away console. I was being a nice person because even though I didn't use YouTube as I felt to help people, give them games so they can enjoy it. I was giving games to people who are starting the show, from Anderson to Trip to Brownie to all the stuff, and I had no problem. I have no problem with that. Because I did it out of the goodness of my heart, and a couple guys came together, Renegade and Aniston and Doc and everybody want to give Trip some games as well too. So out of the goodness of their heart, they wanted to give it. Good Shepherds as well in that spot, wanted as well too. So yeah, we're good with that. But these YouTubers who are YouTubers, and also you watchers who are attacking, like I said, a guy because he was positive and not try to not be negative, because he was telling his story of how his friend died from cancer and his other friend died and he took his life, and he was like, man, I wish there was ways I wish there were more things he could have done. And in that situation, sometimes you think that the guilt's on you, that that somebody did suicide, and you're like, oh man, I should have done more and whatever. I mean, right now, this Friday, this day that you guys are watching this video, because this is generation, this day you watch it right now, I am literally taking another friend. I took her yesterday and I took her today. I'm taking them to get their chemotherapy because they're battling cancer. And I'm not asking her for no money. I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart. Because That is not something to be fun. I've had a couple people. My two aunts passed away from cancer. It's not fun, and a friend of mine went through cancer, and I remember the day when he told me. He said, "Man, I never wanted to die, but at one time he did chemotherapy, and he was so dehydrated. He said, I wish I had died, but thank God he didn't, and he lived for his kids, and he's been in remission for all this time. There's so much stuff out there happen. You don't have to. We understand that we use gaming as a escape from everything. I understand that, and that's a good thing. But let me say it again: you have the Nintendo Switch is still gonna be selling. Most of y'all have a Nintendo Switch. They have over 10,000 games. That's what, $60 and less that you could play and have fun with. Go ahead. For the jerks who gonna emulate, you wanna emulate, that's on your private time, go do that. If you're selling the shit, no, like I said before, I want FBI to catch you. Because again, if the company goes out, then you ain't got nothing to emulate. That's just the super simple supply and demand. But again, you are among the many privileged people of this world that you could even buy a Nintendo Switch to. Nevertheless, get a game and sink hours into it. And hours into hours like I have. That's what it is. So, I just want to do a serious topic, Generation N, without no intros or nothing, but and just be sincere to you guys. Again, I know this might not get a lot of views. It's understandable. I will have another Generation N to next week, which is gonna prove the point of gaming. Funny how that works. Okay, it will do that. So you guys will need to. You guys will understand that. But for the guys out there, if you want a Switch and you can afford it, good for you. If you want it to be cheaper, you have the right for it to be cheaper. I'm not knocking you for not being the right for be cheaper. But to be honest, again, you ain't got. You have an opportunity that you are in a two. Look at this. The Switch sold maybe over 150 million, right? 150 million the Switch has sold. You know you're in the top 1.11.00000000000000000000001% of the world. There's 8 billion people in 8 to 9 billion people in this world, and there's only 150 billion of y'all bought it. We're in the 1 percentile. Not even a one, like I said, 1% 100th of a percentile. You are lucky, and you're lucky that you could buy this. I'm in this. You take it as whatever you want to take it as. All right. With that said, I wish y'all a good week. I really do. I thank y'all for the video, for the comments. I thank y'all for rocking with me and Katie. I thank y'all for enjoying my little rants and rave when I do it. I really do thank you. And last week was crazy. I never got so much a lot of attention. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I do this just for fun. I don't do it for money or nothing. That was the most spike I had in my YouTube history right there last week when it was those 3 days, because I was posting constantly. And if that's what I gotta do to get to get subscribers and be up there like those YouTubers who make millions, one, good for y'all that you could do that. Y'all have the tenacity. I ain't doing that. That's not my job. I'm doing this for fun. So I thank y'all for rocking with us. And again, when we go live with our game and chill, hey, drop in a note, say hello, watch the game, talk about stuff. We all cool with that. With that said, again, remember, there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, including PC. All right? Have a good night. Be blessed and enjoy games. Just enjoy games, guys. I understand if the game is broken. You have that one. I agree with anybody out there. Nintendo charging that little $5. That's what it's starting to be for that packing game. I agree with everybody on that. I agree that if you're gonna charge that much money, the whole game should be on there. I agree on that too. But Your money speaks more louder than your voice. So speak with your money, speak with your wallet, and buy good games. You don't like what Nintendo's doing, do not buy a Nintendo product. If you like what they're doing, buy their product. If you can't stand them, don't buy them. If you have a problem against them, you want to stand up against them as a boycott, don't buy it. I stand behind you. I stand behind you if you buy it. If you don't buy it, you have a choice. It's your money. You do what you want to do. But a lot of situations have happened that they have to make money to keep on going. So it's up to you to make that decision on your own. All right? Peace out.